I'm Dylan.
I'm Elle.
And we both love soup. Here we are, episode,
31?
33, season 2, episode 3.
Two?
We're in the third.
No.
Yeah, we're in our third episode.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
wow.
Beginning of February.
Yeah, January was a blur.
Yes, it was.
In more ways than one.
You've been a little traveling
Yeah.
fool. What you been up to?
We went on a cruise. We went on a nice 4-day cruise out of Long Beach, which is the perfect little thing because we didn't have to fly anywhere. You can pack whatever you want because you're just carrying your bags on. It was super easy, super fun. A little too many kids on board because they did a kids cruise free promotion.
Yeah.
And we asked them like, okay, so when do you not do the kids cruise free? And they said during season. So it's either during season, which means kids are out of school and there's likely to be more kids, or
And it's more expensive.
but I actually think during season would be better because there's probably a lot of people. There was a lot of felt like white trash on this cruise
Because it was...
because let's take our 5 kids on this cruise because they're free. And it's like, so it's a cheap way
in
to
those
go.
small little rooms. We traveled on a
know.
couple cruises with the kids, and you remember those, Zach, right? The bunks, and we were basically just crammed in the room. I mean, I couldn't even get dressed. It was
I don't know how people survive in those. I especially don't know how people survive in those inside cabins, and
We did that once,
the
and
really
never
cheap ones.
again. But like they have some of the family suites. I'm sure that though kids probably weren't free,
Right.
or you're paying such a...
But it was fun. We did, it was
Royal
just
Caribbean,
Catalina,
right?
Ensenada, Royal Caribbean. I got a little kitty sniffing my feet. I'm afraid she's going to attack my feet, but that's okay.
She's probably smelling your kitties.
I know. And then, so we did a wine tasting thing in Ensenada, which was really fun. And we played
I just don't think of Ensenada as a wine region.
it actually looked just like our area.
Really?
Yeah,
Isn't
it
that
was very
crazy?
similar. The wines at the one place were pretty good. They had a nice Chenin Blanc that was delicious. And they
How
had
many did you do on the excursion?
2. The second one was all honey based. It was like meadery.
Oh,
so it was gross, but it was a pretty place. I mean, up in the hills and like overlooking. I look at her go. She's just like rubbing up against my feet.
Your cats are going to be mad when they smell your sakis. So
Okay.
would you do it again?
Yeah, we probably will.
Yeah,
Because it's like an easy
And it was inexpensive, wasn't it? Like $1,200 for both of you.
14, but yeah. $1,400 for both of us. It's all your meals.
No drink
it's
package.
Yeah, I mean,
because they don't.
and we didn't really drink that much because, and we still got. I think we got like half off of a milkshake, because of our tier.
yeah.
We get a
Cruise tier.
few benefits. But yeah, it was fun. It was good. I'm sure we're gonna do another one next year at the same time
Because it's a good way to do the cruise with Casey's family.
Yes.
You don't have all the rigmarole of flying.
Travel and flying. They're doing 2 other ones that are kind of complicated because they fly in one place and
One
out
direction,
of another. And so,
I like the idea of one of where you fly to it, get the flying out of the way, and then it sails back to where you want to end up.
I was curious about the Holland Americas going out of San Diego because
I've done those.
I know, because they're in and out of San Diego, we thought that would be great, but they don't do short ones. And
They don't.
we did really enjoy the short aspect of this because it's a little less.
The one thing about Holland America, though, no kids.
I know I would like
They may
them.
even have a no kid rule now, but like even when we went, there were so few kids. There's no kids club.
The one time, or we've been on Holland a couple times, but we just called it. It was like we felt like children,
Young.
Everybody
Yes.
on that ship there was more wheelchairs on that ship than any
It's
other.
a lot. It's about the food because they don't have like
And
the
they have
water
really good
slides.
food.
Like your ship you were on had water slide and a rock wall. You get none of that. But
Casey was disappointed with the food. They did not have very good vegetarian options. I always had a good, decent fish option, so I was safe.
see, I
but
don't think Royal is necessarily known for the food. I
No.
feel like Princess is big time food.
Royal's okay. Celebrity's good for food. Yeah, I mean.
But fun time. And then you were wham bam.
And, yeah,
world,
went right
one
from-
day turnaround.
Yes, we got in on Friday. I had to do my laundry. And then Saturday, I went up to San Jose to do Cycle for Survival with my cousins and my friends up there. And we did great. I only raised like $1,000. I don't even think I raised that. And but my friend Gina raised like $20,000. And so our
She
team
has
was
the advantage of having a husband who's in corporate, and he probably
Yes.
put it out to his workers and said, "Hey, take a look at my wife's fundraiser."
She lives in Palo Alto. She also lives in a place in Idaho that's, she has 2 homes. She teaches yoga and Pilates to wealthy people. So, yeah, she's got some connections. But
Now, in the year that we did the event at Somerset, what did you total for that year?
that year, I think I raised about $5,000.
For all that work we did, we scraped out 5,000.
5,000, and she
just
does
gets
it without
12.
without
Yeah,
even
just
trying.
12.
So I think we're close to 30,000 as a team, and we were the number
Is that
one.
a record for you?
No, I think we raised the year that I raised more. Everybody raised more. But because of that, the sponsor was Viore, and we were able. It was weird because you're able to pick something off this carousel, and this is like one of the last events. There's one in LA, there's one in New York. They're all over the country, and I felt like they were running out of sizes. Like they had these really nice, the butter soft Viore leggings, but they only had extra small and small. And while I could
You're
have
small.
I'm not a small.
Well, it's just because you don't like things snug.
I don't like
you.
something
Well,
snug.
should
but
wear a
Meg
small.
definitely did not want a small legging. And then they had these pants that were not Viore-esque at all. Like, how butter soft that stuff is.
Yeah.
And that's what I ended up getting. They're like cargo pants.
Oh,
And
for hiking, so that if they don't snag.
yes. And they're adorable, but and they say cycle for survival on them. But they had like 2 size, medium and large,
They were
I
at the
think.
end.
And Meg ended up getting these shorts that are like kind of manly basketball shorts, but
That's kind of her vibe, though.
well, she can wear them for working out and stuff. But yeah, I just thought it was weird that
Felt
we were
like it was a little picked over.
yeah, here we raised, $30,000. I say we. Gina raised $30,000, and we got kind of the picked over. If each one of us, if you had raised $25,000 yourself, they had this hoodie that was the perfect Elle blue. It was
and you
butter
couldn't
soft.
just buy it?
I know. And I was like, "Can we buy it?" And they said, $25,000. It's like what you could, because it had the Cycle for Survival logo on it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So bummed out, but oh well.
Make your own. Mm-hmm. We'll do some. We both love soup merch in that nice.
Yeah, exactly. And that butter soft butter. It's like butter. Anyway, so yeah, I went from that to that, and then I got back, and I had my RFA on my back. So I've been like,
You're caught up for the work week though, because you were slammed this week.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, kind of caught up.
Yeah, well, I've got the corgis here with me for 10 days because
Yes,
Miranda and
it's
Brett.
doggy
Miranda
chaos.
is not with us today. She is on the road. They are road tripping up to Sequim, Washington, where they're going to rendezvous with me on Monday when my flight lands. And then we're going to go visit my mom for 5 days.
Nice. Yeah.
We didn't see her at Christmas. But yesterday, her husband, while they were pulling up for a funeral, he had dropped her off at the church. He went to park.
This is your stepfather.
Yes,
Matt.
he had a parking mishap, hit a patch of ice. This is the second time, 10 years ago. So he had the same kind of incident while parking, and it ran forward and skidded into a fence and messed
Did
up
a
the
lot of
front.
damage on the car.
Yeah, it was. I think it's because cars are made to crumple and plastic, so a lot of damage to the car. Had to get towed. It was just a day of rigmarole because the nearest Lexus dealer. The one thing about living in Sequim, and if we ever move there, you just got to come to grips with, is it's not a big city. So things like a Lexus dealership, the nearest Lexus dealership is in Linwood, which is,
Oh, that's really far away.
yes.
Yeah.
So the car had to get towed, and they have a really crappy rental car. So while we're up there, we'll probably be driving around in Brett's truck because they gave him like a really low to the ground Chevy Malibu. I would have thought that, hey, give the folks who are used to a taller step-in car a taller step-in car.
We had a rental. The heater went out on our car, and so we had a rental for a couple days. And bizarre how I can't get in and out of a low car anymore. I mean, my car's not a huge car, but it's just weird. How I don't know how old people get in and out of those little low cars anymore. I had trouble, especially with the knees and everything else.
Well, I mean, Polly's as low to the
Oh
ground
my
as
God,
you
I
can
can't get
possibly
it. I know, I have to literally, and she doesn't have a good handle either.
No handle. They assume that you should be able to do it.
If you're going to drive a Porsche, you got to have good knees.
Good knees.
That's
indeed.
the rules. You can afford good knees if you have a Porsche, right?
So, some other exciting news. I have, for years, followed eagle couple who lives in Big Bear, which is about an hour and a half away.
Literally an eagle couple.
It's an eagle couple. Yeah, they are eagles.
Birds,
Jackie
as in
and
the birds.
Shadow.
Yeah.
They and they have a really good high def camera that is near the nest, and you can watch it at any time. And there's a whole Instagram page. And over the years, it shows, them laying eggs. Some they're successful clutches, and they have some of their progeny is flying around Big Bear as you speak. Last year was unfortunate. Neither of the two eggs hatched. This year, she's laid 3 eggs, and we're on pip watch, which means when you can start to look for the chicks to bust through, and they're expecting
They're
that
busting a move.
Yeah, busting a move beginning of March. So if you want just complete zen away from all the political crap, find them on YouTube and watch Jackie and Shadow. I mean, they actually have a relationship. You can see them relating to each other. Shadow does nest duty. She does nest duty. And it's
They
kind of...
mate for life, right? Eagles?
They do.
Yeah.
And this couple has been together for 8 years. On some unfortunate sad news, another eagle couple in Florida, who I don't follow as religiously, did have their chicks. 2 of them were born 3 weeks ago, and they both died of bird flu.
Yeah, the bird flu's going around.
Bird flu took
it's
down
jumping
the
species,
eagles.
too. I heard something.
Cats and cows
yeah.
now have it. But, I mean, is that symbolic of our nation right now?
Yeah, exactly. It's a dumpster fire.
The eagles are being taken down. But
Yeah, I do feel like that was part of January's depression and angst was just the dumpster fire that is our government right now. It's
like we knew it would be bad.
We knew it would be
never
bad.
in my wildest imagination pictured it being this bad.
I didn't imagine the subtle takeover. I imagined a hostile takeover. I didn't imagine the subtle takeover by Elon Musk, which is exactly what's happening. The man has a hold of our financials and can do God knows what with them. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, we just don't know what
every
this
day is
guy
a
has
new
in mind.
The other thing I think about is, okay, these are these very public things. A lot of them are being challenged. Trump had to pull back on some. I feel a little bit there's like smoke and mirrors going on.
Exactly.
And that there's something else even worse.
Right. That's what's going on that we don't even know about.
Because, I mean, this makes us sick to our stomach. I really think it's a distraction over something even more.
Look over here. Don't look behind them.
More biblically bad. And
Yeah.
I just am like, come on, Congress.
And
they don't have a majority by much. All it takes is like 3 or 4.
But I feel like the Congress isn't even doing anything. I don't feel like anybody's doing anything. I mean, how is Elon Musk getting away with the stuff that he's getting away with? I don't understand it. It's bizarre
opening
to me.
the doors and letting them walk through. Like,
But we were talking about it, it's
and
like
Bernie and all you guys, come on.
Yeah, we just don't. We would sincerely now at this point like to ask somebody who voted for him, is this what you had hoped for? Is it everything you hoped for?
We understand that there's the maggot side of people, the really genuinely not intelligent people. That's not the ones I want to ask.
Yeah.
I want to ask our peers who we've, put up a wall of safety, a wall of sanity between. Are you happy with this?
Yeah. Is this what you expected?
Is this good?
Yeah. Is this what you expected? That's what I want to know.
My aunt, I'm bracing to ask her that question. Even other people in our friend group. Now, granted, we aren't seeing them anymore, but just
sort of put a wall up there, but that's okay.
Maybe in 6 months have hey, really, guys?
Yeah.
This was worth the 11 trans athletes, the no abortion and commandments in schools.
Yeah.
If that was the things you voted on, what? Because it certainly isn't lowering the price of groceries. So many things are set to go bad here. We're coming into tax season. Our tax refund's going to be held up. You've seen that some people, their Social Security payments have been delayed. People have lost benefits. I mean, this is real stuff happening to people who who live paycheck or subsidy to subsidy. Yeah.
And just the cutting of funding. Now, I've never been a huge fan of nonprofit organizations or religious organizations of any kind, but they did just cut billions of dollars of funding to send relief aid to poor countries. So people are now going to starve, and they've got nothing for it. And these are Christian people.
Christians.
Yes, the Christian people that voted for this man that has now just cut Christian funding.
Maybe they're just trying to get the second coming of Christ to accelerate it.
I know,
because he's
exactly.
gonna be like, all right, man, I got to step down there. Wasn't planning on doing it for a couple more millennia, but it went so bad.
Yes,
I got to come
exactly.
back.
It's time to come. Armageddon.
Yes. My screw you, Elon, because I drive a Tesla that I bought. My Tesla is 7 years old. So this is way before I knew
really
Elon
need
was
to get a
bad
bumper
shit.
sticker.
Or something. License plate frame I'm looking at. But my car, and part of the reason I'm not getting rid of it, well, one, they have plummeted in value. I guess sales have gone down. A lot of people feel the same way as me. They're dumping those things. So I'm not going to get rid of it. Two, I have sort of the unicorn in that I have what's called SCO1, which is unlimited supercharging for life. So
You would never get rid of that. I mean, why would you?
until that car is in the ground. So my FU to Elon is I am supercharging exclusively because every time I plug it in, I feel like I'm just at least taking some of your free shit, Elon. But that's like the best I can do at this point because I admit I am embarrassed to be driving the car right now.
I would be too.
I'm absolutely embarrassed.
I was embarrassed to get in one the other day.
Yeah, they don't look, because the model years don't really change, even though mine is old. Unlike some other, it doesn't look old.
Right.
So it looks like I might have just got this thing, other than Ed has dinged it up to high heaven. So I wish it looked old.
Yeah,
I really. Like, oh, you got it a while ago.
I think the bumper sticker is the way to go, or the like
put
you
it
said,
on where Ed's backed into the
license plate cover saying
I need something.
I bought it before I knew he was an asshole.
Yes, and
or crazy or whatever adjective you want to use. Adverb, adjective. Lolly, lolly, lolly.
That's adverbs, right?
That's adverbs.
Lolly, lolly, lolly. Get your adverbs here.
Quickly. Okay.
So the other thing that I've been was, I guess, tangential to our resolutions was I started in November religiously cleaning up my email. And what I meant by that is all the freaking spam. And every time I got a spam email, rather than just deleting it, I would go to unsubscribe, take the extra clicks, unsubscribe. Oh my gosh, it would take me hours and hours. But I will say here, about 90 days later, world of difference.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I can see myself, some new ones pop up, but I now have a manageable amount of email coming in a day. And it was because I spent arguably hours doing the unsubscribe.
That's one thing about Temu I hate is they fucking spam the crap out of you. Now that I bought something from them, it's like, you have $18 you can spend. You left something in the cart. No, I didn't. I didn't leave anything in the cart.
The interface is awful because it makes it like a game. They're going to give you that discount regardless. Don't give me the spinning wheel. Just take me to the site where you have a lot of cheap stuff and let me play around in it. I know with the whole postal thing, there's some concerns on the Temu and Shein side that the postal rates are going to, once he eventually shuts that down. So I made like my last order a little bit ago. You didn't see I bought a crow pillow cover.
Oh,
it's kind of cute.
Nice.
But I just can't see under his watch that stuff is going
to keep being as cheap. Yeah.
You know, if you're winding up paying $25 to have it shipped. Now, some of those places have U.S. based. I don't know if you've seen on Temu, it'll have a little asterisk next to one that's coming from a U.S. shipper.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, after you've had your Temu success. So, other thing that kind of rocked my world the other day, and is sort of leaning into our topic for the day about health, was I actually had a fully, and I don't know how I didn't catch it earlier, gray eyelash.
Oh my God.
Have you had a gray eyelash?
I don't know. My eyelashes are blonde. So.
Oh my gosh. And it's that they're, plucking an eyelash is like an ow. Anyway.
Yeah, that's an ow.
But I'm like, how did it get to be a fully grown eyelash and be gray and not having noticed it before now? Because I feel like it's sort of like the chin hair. It just appeared overnight. Fully gray.
It is amazing
eyelash.
how those pop up too.
Yeah.
Like
fully gray. And
you hear a lot of people talking about that.
I just never heard people talk about eyelash. But I guess some people, blondes dye their eyelashes.
I do.
Right? But
I've
just never heard that you have to dye your eyelashes because they're growing gray.
My eyelashes are so non-existent that it's like I kind of gave up even dyeing them because even when I dye them, I'm like, well, they're still not there. If I don't have the lash effect on, for life. Have
you tried Mrs. Bond?
I'm wearing Mrs. Bond right now. I'm not sure if I'm loving Mrs. Bond.
I'm feeling the same way too. The jury's still out. I am not getting longevity with it, but that actually is fine for me because I take mine on and off fairly regularly. And I just now put mine back on because I'm post eye surgery now 2 weeks, and so a little over 2 weeks. So I was able to put them back on. It does go dry quickly, but I still think of all the Bonds, my favorite is the white.
I think the black with the white, the
double stick.
Nope, not the double stick. The
individual tubes of
the
them?
black but that's not. It's what is that
Oh,
stuff called?
the,
Flexi Bond or something.
With charcoal flex.
Charcoal
yeah.
Flex Bond, and then the white tip end of that. But what I wanted to try was the black Charcoal Flex with the
Mrs. Bond.
So,
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not saying I hate it, but it's also not
it was very
like
liquidy.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very liquidy, and I felt like this is not sticky at all. But it has held in. I think I'm on day 2, so I don't know.
And are you starting to do like I do, where you peel them off after or before every shower and rub, or are you still trying to go long?
I'm going less long. Love you less long time.
Yeah, love you less long time.
Like 2 or 3 days. I'm going 3 days, and then
Yeah, I did
because I'm
order
only
the new
showering and
lashes.
rubbing every 3
So
days.
I have to show you. I did order the new velvet lashes that have. Don't love them.
Oh,
they're just
okay.
too much. It's like my favorite ones. I think are B's and C's.
Well, these are bees.
Yeah, I just like the naturalness of it. It looks like
I
you
like
just
the
got
naturalness
long-
of bees, but like when I'm on a cruise, I want those plushy.
Yeah.
The PTs. I think the plushies are the way to go.
But velvet is like thicker than plushy. It's got like the part that goes.
Oh, I don't
against
think
your
I've
lash.
ever want anything plushier than plushy.
Yeah.
You know, like
But
I feel,
it's got a ribbed for your pleasure base, so it supposedly adheres better because of that.
okay.
But I just put them on, and I just felt like, ooh, this is too much lash. And maybe because I went from having no lashes on for 2 weeks, and then I put those on.
Oh yeah, that's
and I'm
right,
like,
because you were lashless because of your eye surgery.
lashless.
Yeah.
Word of the day. I pulled up a word of the day that made me laugh when I saw it. Cockwomble. Cockwomble, a completely useless person who spouts constant bullshit.
Oh.
Remind you of anyone you know, or
The orange
in
one.
the news. Yes, cockwomble
Yes.
just flows off the tongue.
There was somebody but there was a really funny term for him. It was like the
People are calling Elon Musk Titler because he was in a
I like the
T-shirt.
titler. I've heard titler. I've also heard the cars called swastikars, which I think is funny.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
swastikars.
anyway,
So
okay.
sad. So
It'd be
moving on-
funny if it wasn't sad and
Yeah,
scary.
exactly.
But it's sad and
Tragedy
scary.
plus time equals humor. We have not had enough time.
There's not enough
for
time
all
in the
this
world for this.
tragedy. And we're only in month 1.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, 4-year sentence.
Yep.
So checking in our health. This is the oldest we've ever been and the youngest we will ever be.
It's like that line from City Slickers. City Slickers. This is the best I'm going to look. It's the best I'm going to feel. It's the best I'm going to be. And it ain't that great.
Great.
He was 40.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
God.
I'm like, that's almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I am really struggling this year, more than I ever have. You know, I've always had pain. I've gotten used to it. I've always had other things. I've gotten used to it. This is like a whole new world. A whole new world of shit I'm dealing with. The knee thing really threw me because
But the cortisone helped, right?
it did help, and I rode this morning, and it seems better. It's clicking.
far did you ride?
Clicking like crazy. Only like 10 miles.
But still.
But I rode on a lower power, so that was good. So the knee feeling better, but it was just so depressing because it was like, if I can't ride, you know, what can I do? You know, and then the new joy, I think I mentioned it last time, is this vertigo, and the vertigo
That has kicked your ass these last couple
sucks
weeks.
ass. Yeah, I'm really, really struggling because I feel like crap. And part of this is I had taken, I went to urgent care. I got a steroid. I got some prednisone, and I got this anti-dizzy medication. And then I had the RFA on my low back, and they shoot cortisone. So I hear I'm on all the steroids.
Yeah.
So I think part of it was like over amounts of steroid in my system, and I probably still have a little bit of that because I have some roid rage. But so I'm shaky. I feel like, you know how when you have the flu and you're like, you're just like shaking and you're weak as a kitten, and you just feel like you can't stand and you're shaky. Every time you stand up, you're shaky. That's how I feel right now.
And does the vertigo really hit you most in the morning?
Yeah.
Like you go to get out of bed and it's just like, oh shit.
I tried to do yoga, and if I lie down, if going from lying down to standing up, and it's just like, have you been really wasted in your life and the room spins? You lie down in the bed and the room
Yeah.
spins. That's exactly what it's doing.
my gosh.
And it's like, if I try to do downward dog, room spins. If I try
Every
to bend
day?
over.
It's been like this every day
Yeah.
for like the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I tried bend over and pick something up, a cat or food or whatever, room spins. And it's just like, and then the most depressing thing is hearing that it's probably another fucking menopause symptom. And I tried the
So no one's able to really give, they tried the pregnancy and it did help?
Didn't help. No.
Didn't help.
In fact, I felt almost worse. I almost feel like it
There's
was worse.
nothing that you have found that can even lessen it.
No. There is one thing I haven't really tried yet because it's some maneuver, the blah, blah maneuver, which is like a series of head movements you do when you're lying down.
It's like a control-alt-reset
Yes,
for you.
exactly. And that's literally what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to reset the crystals in your ear, if that's what this is. And unfortunately, I keep looking it up on my phone, and the little images are too small to see what they are. So I got to look it up on my computer, and I keep forgetting to look
Your
it up on my computer.
chiropractor didn't help for any solutions? Didn't you see him this week?
No, he adjusted me.
But
Didn't help.
he didn't have any, like, here, let me
No,
control
I had a
reset you.
massage. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Trying everything, man.
I've tried everything. So I'm just, yeah.
Well, at least you were back on the bike because it had been 2 weeks.
It'd been a while. Well, I mean, I was on the spin bike
Yeah.
for the thing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. I'm okay as long as I don't turn my head or bend over. So it's fun for that. And I just don't feel like myself. We met up for dinner the other day, and
Yeah, you were glazed over.
I'm glazed over. I feel
Even
like
at game night, you were just definitely glazed. I could tell.
I feel like I'm wasted without any of the joy of getting wasted. You know, I just feel like I'm high. 'Cause I got high. And I'm not. And it really sucks because it's like, well, yeah, I'm out of it.
Darn.
I know. So that's my health. It sucks. And I don't see an end in sight. That's the bummer.
Yeah,
I don't see
no
an end in sight.
solution.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to pile on that, but so I had my eye surgery 2 weeks ago,
I know you're doing fantastic.
and it went really well. It is. I thought I was used to monovision. This takes monovision to a crazy degree. And I will say to any of our listeners, if you're thinking about doing it and they're talking to you about monovision,
Rethink it.
not rethink it. I wouldn't change what I did, but I was already used to a version of
know.
monovision because I had that with my toric lenses. But what they didn't tell me is they were the toric lenses were sort of a meet in the middle, even though I thought they weren't a meet in the middle. When they corrected my eyes with these new lenses, my one up close eye, it gives me like 20/40 up close, wham, and it's at about a 12 to 15 inch range. My far eye, I could, see so far. So that has created a bit of a whoa, but I'm already adjusting to it.
So
at
you're
week
dizzy
2.
too.
But no, I didn't get dizzy from it. It's just I find myself sometimes thinking like, oh, should I be putting a contact in to correct that? Because like
Which is a bad thing.
my
That's
up close eye, like the Roger Rabbit poster, I can't read any of the words on the Roger Rabbit when I just do my up close eye there. Whereas when I do this, it's like, whoa.
I can't read any of the words on that period.
Now that also, because I have that kind of vision now, really changes the makeup game because I'm just seeing all the imperfections in my skin. Because a lot of times I was doing my makeup and stuff before I put in my contacts or you don't have your glasses on. Now the harsh reality of being those pores are like, the crater lakes. But no discomfort, pretty quick healing. I looked stoned for a couple days.
Glad you did it.
Glad I did it. Wish it wasn't so expensive. So the other thing too is because it's monovision, and it gave me great to read your phone. It's not great for where I like to have my computer monitor.
Yeah.
So when I went for my checkup, I mentioned that, and so I am getting blue. I was going to wear blue light blockers anyway while doing screen
not
time.
a huge deal to have glasses just for the computer
Yeah,
use because
that's
I feel like
so they're fit in the one eye lens. The other one is just
Right.
clear with the blue. They're making it so that my supervision is at about a 18 to 25 inch, and that's the only adjustment they're going to make. So glad I did it, but am surprised that they weren't more clear about the holy shit on the monovision.
yeah.
But
I had the monovision with the last LASIX I had, and I regret it because I had never worn my contacts that way, and I just I still never got used to it, and I still don't feel like I can see well out of either eye now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the one that's for distance doesn't see close up, and the one that's for close up.
Well, they
doesn't
did
see
say for
distance
older people. So like normally when people are getting this surgery, they are late 60s, 70s, and what have you. They rarely do the monovision thing because they're not more stable. So it is, they give them kind of I'll call it half-assed vision, and they need readers. So they give them vision to correct, but then they have to have readers.
I would rather have good vision distance, have to have readers up close. I do not want the back and forth thing.
I don't mind the middle night, pick up my phone and see.
Because I can't wear bifocals anyway. Like I tried those or transitions or whatever those are called. Yeah, he tried those on me and I hated that.
And my other glasses were that. So yeah. I'm giving it a thumbs up. Wish it wasn't so expensive, but glad I did it. No regrets on that one.
That's good. Good to have no regrets.
No regrets. So the other thing I want to talk about too is sort of my GLP-1 Ozempic Mounjaro journey update. So I am 2 years. I looked in my blue book. It was 2 years ago this week that I got below 200 pounds. Remember, that was my original benchmark was I want to see a 1 on the scale. And I had gone to the doctor, and that was the first time I'd seen a 1 on the scale. Haven't gone back from then. I've been this weight that I'm at right now, stable for almost a year. Just vacillating, 5 or so pounds here and there. So I'm definitely this is where I want to be.
Right.
And so I've just taken it upon myself to figure out a dose and how much I need to stay that way, because it is pretty obvious that anyone who's on this, if you go off it, the food noise comes back.
Right.
I've pushed the limit.
I just saw a really good interview with Oprah.
Yes.
And she talked about how all her life it was, what am I eating? When can I eat? Can I eat that? Noise. It's too much. And she said,
what's my next meal?
She had no idea that there were people that didn't have that.
Yeah.
And now that she's on the GLP-1, she's like, oh my God.
I forgot to eat.
And I am on the other end of that spectrum. I have when am I eating? What's my next meal? Mm-hmm. Oh, can I have some of your pizza even though I'm not hungry? Mm-hmm. That's my noise. And I have to fight it off all the time.
Yeah. So I've been playing around with that, and another friend of ours is also doing the same thing. She's gotten to the weight she wants, and so we're kind of sharing notes about what's
working. She
looked
great.
Yes. She lost, I think, 35 pounds.
Yeah, she looked great.
She's at the weight she wants. It's not about I want to be twiggy. I'm really comfortable.
I'm seeing way too many people in Hollywood looking like walking skeletons.
Like Auschwitz.
Yeah, it looks like Auschwitz out there in Hollywood, especially at the Grammys. And
their mirror and their friends need to tell them, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, remember that whole thing, there's never too skinny and too rich.
You can't be too skinny or too rich. You can be too
skinny.
skinny. It's possible because they look emaciated. They're just like the gaunt.
And it cannot be healthy.
No.
There's a level of body fat you need to have.
Right.
So I've been, and there's even starting to be articles about this now because it's been around long enough. And here I am in year 2. So people who started this early like I did.
There's still a lot of people out there that think something's going to come up, that this is going to cause cancer or whatever.
So far,
it's too good to be true.
The news has been the exact opposite. The latest one, we've
They're
heard
coming up with all new stuff that it's good for.
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about it. The alcohol, treating
alcohol and drug
Alzheimer's, besides the managing diabetes. So there's still a lot of.
I do wish it was
things.
more accessible for people who need it.
Yes, it's still super expensive.
I almost said really need it. Sorry, that would have been a bad thing to say. But people who have diabetes and people who have my assistant should be able to get this without costing her $200 a month.
Well, the other unfortunate thing that's probably going to come up is the whole reason compounding companies or companies besides the drug makers were allowed to produce and sell this at an affordable rate was because the drug was declared to be in a shortage state.
And
they
now
are removing the drugs
Yeah.
off a shortage state in the next couple months, which technically will make it illegal for all these compounding places to do it because the patent for the drug is held by these drug companies. Now, I've also read is they're going to find some ways around it because it really is a simple compound. It's like something super proprietary. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole bunch of GLP-1s that maybe aren't the one that is semaglutide or tirzepatide. Maybe it's a retatrutide or one of the other compounds that'll be as effective, and then they'll wind up compounding those.
Right.
But then it just comes down to the greedy ass drug makers because it is not an expensive drug to produce. The most expensive part of it, I think we've talked about before, is the damn injector.
Right.
For it. So when you buy these compounding ones, you basically get a vial
And you're mixing your own.
You mix your own. It's kind of like insulin. So people get these little, and they have to use a U100 syringe and do it. And America has embraced that, certainly when it's 1/4 the cost. So
Right.
I have probably, considering I'm microdosing, I probably have a year and a half supply on hand for myself. But that's something that's in the back of my mind is, all right, what's the next trend for that if they really do shut it down?
How long is it good for in the fridge?
It's not constituted yet. So I have it all in their little vials in powder. So it's indefinite. Until I constitute it, it then needs to be reconstituted. It needs to be refrigerated. So
What's going on over there?
he's spinning up by the door. So yeah, but they're still coming out with more and more things. Dementia. They're saying,
Yeah.
you get on that, it's gonna
Too late for my mom.
kick you out in dementia. But overall, I'm in the microdosing stage, and my friend is trying that too. So I do like a shot a month and about 1/3 of the dose that I ever used to take weekly. So I'm down to very, very, very little bit of it. But I did do my own little experiment, which was, how long can I go before I start to hear the food noise again?
Yeah.
And it was about 7 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first little bit, you start going, oh, I wouldn't mind having a little more ice cream, versus, oh, I had a little bit, I'm done. And it's like, oh, it will definitely come back. So the people are saying, oh, these people are going to lose their weight, and then once they get off the drug, we'll gain it back. I hate to say it, but that's probably has a lot of truth
Well,
to
especially
it.
if you never had any discipline. I feel like I have pretty good discipline for my food noise. I have that voice is in my head all
'cause
the
you've
time.
not been on
And I've
anything.
been able to, take weight off and kind of keep it off.
And I would like to
although I gained 5
believe
pounds on the cruise.
that now that I've lived like this, that I would do anything to never go back to it, and that I would have that discipline, and that what this did is it helped me get it off. And now that it's off, I would be, disciplined enough to not gain more than 10 pounds back. But because I have it, I'm not going to try that.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep microdosing and keep extending it out. And
If I
taking
had
as
it,
little
I
as
would.
could.
If I had it, I would do it. I would. I'm afraid to even try, because I think you offered it up to me. You could try it, but
I was pushing it.
But the reality is, I have so much other shit going on with my body. I don't really want to fuck it up any more than it already is. So that's where I'm like, maybe that's not a good idea for me. Probably is not. I think there's a lot of things I'm on currently that I probably shouldn't be on. Just my, regular drugs.
Well, the other thing I'm going to do is, and maybe you guys have seen this out there, there's a company out called Function, and they are offering for $4.99 to do, and it's not covered by insurance, you just pay the amount, a complete battery of blood tests.
Oh, I want to do that. Yeah.
So here's a clue for all of our listeners. If you subscribe to the FabFitFun box?
No.
Okay, it's a quarterly subscription. Well, FabFitFun now has it where you get to also do some a la carte. This month, or this last box, one of the a la cartes was an additional $100 off of Function.
Oh.
So I'm waiting for my certificate. I think it's in the mail. I'm going to sign
Does this
up.
give you like VO2 max, or is it strictly blood work?
It's all blood and urinalysis.
See, I want to do
work.
I get my blood work done all the time. I want to do the.
So do I, but this is like a whole bunch more tests.
Well, so there's 2 different things I want to do. One is Meg and Dean did this, and it's basically takes you through the whole athletic thing, your VO2 max, your resting heart rate, your max heart rate, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then I think it did a scan of some kind of ultrasound or CT or something like that. And so it identifies all of that stuff too. And
that
then,
must have been pretty expensive.
actually, I don't think it was that bad. I want to say it was like $1,000 or something.
okay.
Yeah. And then my doctor keeps offering up, it's like their master exam. And I think it's more like what you're talking about, which is like massive amounts of blood work. I mean, I already have a very expensive blood screen every 3 months.
Yeah, and
because they do a full.
I just had one. Yeah,
They do the full. My thyroid, my endocrine system, the blood,
The liver panel,
panel, all of that every 3 months to try to determine what's wrong with me.
Well, this is outside of insurance, and so I'm going to do it, and we'll see how.
You can be the guinea pig.
I'll be the guinea pig. I'll let everyone will read through my test results.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I started this week is I have decided to get a personal trainer.
I thought that was impressive.
And I'm doing
But
it
I'm also jealous
because
of that.
my goals are around kind of the three things left to improve for me. I mean, there's other things, but these are what I'm focusing on. Is strength. So having lost all this weight, I used to carry around 85 more pounds. I was stronger.
Yeah.
My body, think about it. That was 2.5 kitty
Well, they
litters
also
I
say
was
you
carrying.
lose muscle mass with
And I
this
know I've lost
GLP-1s.
muscle mass.
Yeah.
I want to get stronger. Yes, could I download an app and do this? I have yet to be disciplined enough. I've decided this is going to be an accountability partner. 2, I'm doing small group, and I'm hoping with the schedule, I'm going to bounce around, maybe to find some other like-minded people that we can add to, since we completely dismantled our friend group. And then as part of that, because I just went for my assessment, my lack of flexibility is a serious
That's an issue.
problem.
That's gonna bite you in the ass.
They're gonna work on that with
Okay.
me too.
Yeah.
And then I know that I am chronically dehydrated. I am not like you. I don't drink nearly as much. I need to drink more. So the first test they ran, they had me kind of on this weird machine, and it gave you like muscle mass, and it identified, you need, you're dehydrated. So I've got a baseline from which to work off of, and then they're building my plan. I go with them 2 days a week, and then in the app, it gives me the exercises to do on 2 of the other days. And I signed up initially for 90 days. I'm going to see if it does any good. And then I can continue. But what I love about the place I'm going to, it is not like a gym. The only people in there are people getting training. It's small, it's intimate, and it's none of this, like EOS Fitness and everything's going on around you.
Yeah.
It's right there by Toast. And I like the people. And
Right by Toast.
the-
You identify it by
the breakfast
restaurant,
place
by
that's
the breakfast
next door
place
to
here.
the kebab house and Toast. So it's expensive, but I am treating myself to this for the first 90 days and then go from there because I know I've got to improve my strength. I've got to improve my flexibility. And I know that I haven't been good about doing it on my own.
Right.
So I am pulling the trigger.
That's good.
Then last year I had the wedding as a kind of a goal point. Like I wanted to look good.
Yeah,
for
we
the
needed
wedding.
we need a date this year.
I have a new thing, which is I am going to be going to my 40th high school reunion back home in Illinois. And so
And when is that?
the exact date, it's sometime in June. So I reached out this week to my classmate who lives here in town, who I haven't actually connected with in a couple months. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, Sandy, let's get together when you're done. She's traveling right now. And let's talk about that. So we're going to meet at a winery and figure it out because we're going to go together to the reunion.
All right.
So that's going to be my,
That's your next goal.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of throwing it out there as a placeholder because psychologically, I just need that kind of stuff. Because
I do too.
I have no trips planned.
I needed the cruise to do the dry January and to lose. I lost 9 pounds in January. I gained 5 of it back on the cruise. So I'm
But
back
have you really gained 5 back? When
Yes.
did you weigh yourself?
this morning.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I have gained 5 back.
So just going back to your normal.
This is what, people, like, I can gain and lose 5
Yeah.
pounds in a day. So it's like tricky to say,
Yeah.
did I solidly lose 9 pounds? I don't know. Maybe I really only lost 5 pounds and I've gained 3 back or whatever. But
you were feeling pretty good about that. You felt like you noticed the 9. Are you still fine with having got the 5 back? Because to me, you
No.
looked exactly the same.
I know.
But it's about how you feel.
Because I feel so shitty, it's hard to say. But
Yeah, this vertigo is really kicking your ass.
vertigo's kicking my ass, and I'm just tired. I'm really effing tired, and I don't know if it's
This
the
is the
Epstein
time of
bar
year,
that's
too.
come up again. Like, I don't know. I've started taking that pill again. I don't know. I'm just feeling.
At least we don't live in the Midwest. They're getting serious
know.
ice storms. And
as I was riding my bike for the first time today in a very long time, I was like, "Oh my god, it's beautiful out here.
I
It's
rode
gorgeous."
my bike to the training session, and I was able to hook it up.
Did you
right
train
up.
today?
No,
Oh,
I did it
the other
last
day.
week. And so I rode to it because I went
Yeah.
twice last week. And
You're going to be gone all next week, and I'm vowing that I'm going to get on my bike a lot next week. Although it's supposed to be shit. The weather's supposed to be
we
shit.
need the rain though, so we kind of
Which kills me.
The,
The
rain.
weather kills me. So that's another. I get arthritis horribly when the rain is coming, but we need the rain, and so I'm like torn.
I want to
I'm
do a rain dance, but yeah,
Yeah.
when you're out there and it's 70 degrees and I'm riding my bike to my personal training session, I'm like, I freaking love California. In the Midwest, we'd be huddled in our basements with our, Ugg slippers on, just going.
My cousin Bob bikes in this all year. Like, he bikes 50 miles a day, even when it's snowing and sleeting.
How can he though?
I don't know.
have
He's got
to
a
be
Pugsley. He's got a fat tire bike, but still. Yeah, that's tough.
That's
They make them
dedication.
tough in my family.
Don't
I'm
have
not
that
one of them.
dedication.
Yeah.
So other fun fact for everybody, and I've always been, I'm a flosser. My mom's a flosser. I floss.
am not a
I don't think
flosser.
my kids are flossers like this. Ed certainly isn't a flosser. But
I'm a picker.
study in a very reputable medical journal has said flossing daily, now daily, I'm not daily, I'm probably 3 times a week, reduces your chances of a stroke by 40%.
I've heard that because you actually have
Your
something
mouth
in your
is the source of so many heart-related
and bacteria or something in your
and
plaques in your teeth can
take
get
care
into
of
your
your
bloodstream.
teeth and take care of your feet. Well,
Yeah.
your teeth, flossing is key.
That's
So
why you're never supposed to swallow when you're having your teeth cleaned.
yeah, exactly.
Another
Spit
reason.
that crap out. So go out, get some good floss. Get a water pick. I've now put my water pick in the shower, so I do it like when I'm showering.
that's a good idea.
And I'm gonna step up my flossing game to daily. I thought I was doing good being a 3 times a week.
I'm
would
a
love
picker.
to.
I have those little picks and I pick at them.
Yeah, which
but
is
you
same
can't. You
thing.
don't really get between them.
I'm surprised you use those because there's a lot of plastic.
But I reuse them.
Okay.
They're just it's my germs. I wipe them off and I put them back in the.
Okay.
So
I don't know if that helps you with this whole reducing.
Well, I'm cleaning them off.
Okay. Okay. So everyone start flossing or floss more.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Today's drink, which
Is gone.
Is Zach even finished his?
Yeah.
I pulled it from my
The funny book.
my Shakespeare Not Stirred, I think was the one from here. And it was The Unbearable Lightness of Peeing. Because that's the thing, as I become more hydrated, I'm going to become like you too, where I'm like, I'm just constantly,
I'm gonna
I got
have
up
to pee.
3
You're
times
gonna be
last
the one
night.
that's gonna say
3 times.
She keeps saying that it's gonna go on my tombstone. I should have peed because I
peed.
always, no matter
Everywhere-
where I go
before
or
we
what I
go,
do,
like a little kid, Elle,
I
do you
should
have
have
to use the
peed.
restroom? I'm going to be, hopefully, if I'm doing this right. But my body's in shock right now, and I feel like all I'm doing is peeing. But so the Unbearable Lightness of Peeing was a pineapple-based drink with some gin, and what I am now a big fan of is rather than using fresh egg whites, I used powdered egg whites. So as you shake that up, it creates the froth on top of the glass.
It was
Garnished it with some dehydrated blueberries and a dehydrated orange slice, and it drank
It
like
was
a
pretty
juice.
and yummy, and you had them.
And
in
I
your
used
cute
them in my
little-
Nick and Nora glasses.
Your Nick and Nora glasses, which
Yeah,
was
so
lovely.
it was a small portion.
Yeah.
But the Unbearable Lightness of Peeing.
Yes, very nice.
Soup of the show. This is Elle's recommendation.
Yeah. When I ate meat, there was a restaurant near where I worked that served Mexican wedding soup. Oh, so good. Little meatballs.
Yes.
Lots of cilantro, which is why this is not Dylan's.
I would not be putting it. So
No.
yeah, it's a broth-based soup with lots of small meatballs. Rice is what gives it a lot of its thickness. Carrots, zucchini, potatoes, the starch from potatoes.
It's just a really brothy but tasty soup. I would almost make it as a vegetarian with using the fakey meat, but yeah, it's good.
Get it right on.
I gotta make some soup.
And book recommendation is also yours.
Yes. What was it?
Bridesmaid for Hire.
Oh yeah. So this is a series.
And this is book 2 in the series.
This book one, Bridesmaid for Hire, and it's so the first book is based on this one character and her man, and then they hook up and they're together, and then the second book is based on another character that was in the first book and how it's basically romance novel kind of things, very racy but funny and fun and just an easy romp read, like a good summer read if you need fun things to read for
I feel
the
like
summer.
it's summer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing can top racy. So I finished Onyx Storm this past week.
I'm reading what's the second one? I'm reading the second one.
Iron Flame.
Iron Flame again. already read
So
Fourth
racy.
Wing
And so sometimes I don't have my AirPods on, and like I'll play it on my iPhone or through the Alexa, and while I'm doing laundry or something. And I like then Zach or Ed will walk by, and I'm like, oh geez.
I know, it's
never mind. He's not talking about her clit. We're okay.
and it's so funny. I read on my Kindle, and like on an airplane, I have my text blown up quite large
she
because I'm
does.
blind. And I think, oh my God, if somebody, I'm trying to hide it while I'm reading. Like, oh my God, if somebody can read what I'm
The
reading.
third one, because I reread Iron Flame before I went into Onyx Storm, and it keeps on trucking. And they're calling it's a new category now. They're calling romantasy. So fantasy and romance.
I like it.
And that's a whole new category. It's the #1 selling book even beating out Harry Potter in its time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Fastest selling.
Because
Harry Potter's got the
there was
length.
very little sex in Harry Potter.
Yes. Harry Potter.
Hermione and they didn't really get down the way
But
that
what's
these
so
characters.
sad is when you're reading these books, and it was similar with Harry Potter, is now I've got to wait.
Yes.
So we waited like 2 years between Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, and there's 2 more in the series. She said it's a 5-book series. So it's kind of like me with House of Dragon and with The Last of Us. I'm just, okay, when?
I did. See, my problem is I have to reread all the books again because I have zero
Such a
memory.
gap.
Yeah, so I just finished Fourth Wing, and now I'm reading the second one, and I'll read the third one, and then when the fourth one comes out, I'll reread Fourth Wing. I'll reread the second one. I'll reread them all again.
Get to relive it.
It's the reason why I've read the Harry Potter books like 9 times because.
Well, I'm dying
Especially
to see
the
this
early
made
ones.
into a movie. Really
Really
want to see it.
wanna
I'm
see-
We were talking in the kitchen before we came up here. Who would we cast as Xaden? Is she,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people putting out, the AI fan images out on the internet.
Yeah.
Some people are theorizing that Xaden is African American, and so we said, well, would you naturally picture
I see him more as
Like Persian, you
like
said.
Persian or Indian or something like that, dark and swarthy with shiny black hair. Because she keeps talking about running her fingers through her hair,
And that's why I went with like a Henry Cavill look, a young Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Was my picture of him, and of course Liam was being like a blonde.
and I
beach.
see her as sort of on the Persian side too. I think I see her at least Latino, or she's dark. I see her as dark.
Yeah, hers
skin,
dark with
skin.
silver. But so yeah, how they'll cast the people and who will go into those. But the movies will be a long time coming.
I
but
know, I'm
looking
really-
forward to it.
Really looking for, I would like, where is the fantasy shows right now? There is nothing. I have watched everything right now.
She's rewatching Castle.
I'm rewatching Castle, and it's horrid.
Doesn't age well.
It does not age well. It's just so corny.
How about Doctor Who?
I can't. We don't have it. It's HBO.
Well, no, it's spread across things now. It's like the old ones are one place, the new
but I
ones
still
are
don't.
Disney.
I still don't have it.
Doctor
We did
Who?
just get
Battlestar
Peacock, so I'm
Galactica.
watching. I just started watching
The
Traitors again.
Yes, the latest Traitors, which has got.
But
like,
you gave it
Boston-
away that Boston Rob is in it because he's on the first episode. He's not in it.
Oh, yeah.
So you gave it away that he's coming back in
Yes,
somehow.
he gets pulled in.
I figured that he would be coming back.
Yeah, they
but-
wouldn't leave that on the table.
No, exactly. But yeah, so I'm running out of. If anybody has any suggestions of things to watch, but I literally have watched everything right now.
Oh, I
and-
made a list. I was shocked how few of some of my all-time favorite movies my daughter has actually seen, and I'm almost to the point of being jealous of her because
she gets to watch them for the first
She gets to
time.
watch them for the first time. So like I've dragged her into Shawshank. So at least she had seen that. She hasn't seen The Red Violin. Oh my God, Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh my God, I love that
Waking
one.
Ned Divine.
Waking Ned Divine. That's
Right,
a great one.
Amadeus.
Amadeus.
I made her watch P.S. I Love You and About Time, and she doesn't feel the same way that I mean, About Time to me, if I
love
need a
that
good
one.
cry, I watch About Time.
Yeah.
Best. Big Fish.
Big Fish.
She watched it when she was younger.
Actually, Big Fish I don't love.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, see, it reminds me
it's
of my
okay.
dad. He reminds me of my dad.
Okay.
Signs? She hadn't watched Signs.
That's a
Oh
great
my
one.
gosh, Swing Away. A Dog's Purpose, another one. You watch that, and that just rips your heart out. Art of Racing in the Rain.
A lot of animal ones.
Yeah.
The dog.
Me Before You. Have you seen, you haven't seen Me Before You?
Yeah, I've seen Me Before You.
Return to Me
Yeah.
with David
Love,
Duchovny.
Love Return to Me. That's a great one.
Immortal Beloved. The Beethoven movie is Immortal Beloved. Fabulous. Green Mile.
Oh, Green Miles. Great movie.
Oh,
Actually, any of the Stephen King
That were adapted from short stories.
that were adapted, not the horror.
Right.
The horror ones suck, but the actual short story ones are
Yeah,
awesome.
Shawshank is a short story.
Yep.
You know, she hasn't seen Dead Poets Society.
Oh my God. One of my favorite movies.
What Dreams May Come.
What about Good Will Hunting?
Good
She's
Will
seen that
Hunting.
one? That's a great one.
I think I should put that
Okay.
on my. And then an oldie but goodie, which I know my mom likes, and she actually introduced this to me, is The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Have you even seen
I have
that one?
seen that one, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, that's a good rewatch.
Yeah.
But so I'm so excited for her to have that, whereas we're sitting here going, "What scraps?"
I'm like trying to even find a movie. I watched the worst movie last night because out of desperation for a movie to watch. It was a Will Ferrell.
Oh, you're either gonna love
Yeah.
it or hate it with
And-
Will Ferrell.
Oh shit, what was it? What's her name?
Zach, what name some Will Ferrell movies?
It's a new one. It has what's her name? Oh my God. Brain.
Sounds like
Blonde, produces movies. Reese Witherspoon, thank you. Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell, where she's in charge of her sister's wedding and he's in charge of his daughter's wedding, and they plan them in this island. It's the worst movie. Don't watch it. It's the worst movie I've ever seen. It's like so painful. It was so painful. And then when I thought it was done and it was like, oh, thank God this is over, there was more. I was like, why are they continuing this movie? It's so bad. Anyway.
So in that quest for watches, I started to rewatch things, and I rewatched 16 Candles.
Oh,
love John Hughes, right? And
does it hold up?
Oh man, it doesn't. Oh, sorry, not 16 Candles. Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink.
I did do 16 Candles, which that one, oh geez, doesn't hold up. I mean,
So
that's like
inappropriate.
quasi rape,
Racist and rapey. Yeah.
Even Molly Ringwald is like, yeah, there's some bad things, but no, it was Pretty in Pink, and so my song.
That's the one with Ducky. Okay.
And my song, great soundtrack. Pretty in Pink
Great
soundtrack.
soundtrack.
Smiths. Oh my God.
Yep.
Best.
Psychedelic
Order.
Furs. Yeah.
So my song for this week actually comes from the scene where Andy takes Blaine out. So they do his thing and it flops miserably when they're at Seth's house. So then she says, let me take you to where like I hang out. And they go to that club, which reminds me of like a Medusa's from Chicago. Anyone who remembers those days. And which is like a juice bar. And so she comes in there with Blaine, and Ducky is there with her boss from the Trax store. And Ducky's mad, right, that she's dating Blaine. And the band that's playing in the background is playing a song called Rave Up, Shut Up. And it's by a group called the Rave Ups. And
is that the one you played for me last night?
It's just very catchy, and you want to dance. And it's like, I know if you hear it,
it's very.
You're like, where do I know that from?
Yeah, it's very 80s band,
Totally
grunge, 80s grunge, not grunge because that didn't exist, but like 80s club band or like
80s club band, and it's actually not even on the Pretty in Pink soundtrack.
Oh, it's
which
not.
is
It's
really,
too bad because that little band.
It's a great song.
Could have used a boost probably.
But we just got to acknowledge what they did to that pink dress. That was the worst.
That was the worst fail.
I remember it being, I've watched this several times. It's always like shockingly bad, but every time I see it, I'm just like, what were the costume designers thinking?
And you have to remember, that was me when I was 16. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I was that. When I saw that, I was like,
she made that
I
bag,
could have done better than that. I mean, that was so bad.
Her dress that she deconstructed was better. She would have been showing up with that. What she did to that dress.
So hideous. I don't know who designed that, but that was
worst epic design fail ever. And considering the whole movie was kind of predicated on that damn dress.
Yeah.
But Pretty in Pink, it was fun to watch again.
My favorite of that era is Breakfast Club.
Oh, yes.
That's my favorite, John Hughes.
Which I think we've mentioned, maybe not on the show, but the last scene where he's running across the field, pumping his fist, that was my high school.
That was your high school. That's right. I think you've said that.
The actual high school they're filming in was the ritzy neighborhood over in Glencoe, which is their actual library, that pretty one. But they filmed, for some reason, they used our high school's football field that Judd Nelson's walking across.
Just had better lighting, maybe.
Yeah,
or something.
Who knows? It's not particularly. It's a small scene, but I remember when they were filming it, and it's like, that's our school.
Oh, and my song
it's apropos
is because I literally have been singing this. Dizzy, I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning.
And you said it's Tommy Rowe. If
Tommy
for
Rowe.
$1 billion, I would have. Never
I had to look
artist.
it up. Yeah, I had to look it up. But everybody knows the song, right?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like
why
60s?
we 69, somewhere in there. But like, why do we know that song? So you just play it on the radio all the time? I don't know. How do we know that song? Because I've sung it when I said I was dizzy. Meg started singing it, and I was like, I've been singing that song.
I don't know. I can't think of any movies. That
I know, me either. Must just be a radio song that we just heard. Like we had joy, we had fun, we had Seasons in the Sun.
But that would have been a time we were listening to the radio. This came out when we were, tots. So why
was 69? Oh,
we
no,
were two.
You're right. We were tots.
I could see if we're 7 and 8.
But they still played songs on the radio from the late 60s that were when we were in our 70s, mid 70s. I don't know. So that's my
then my thought to end the show is actually, I'll give a little context before I say it, is, I've been reading a lot about the orange one and the maggots and just
I love the maggots.
The incredible lack of empathy right, is just raging through our country.
Mm-hmm.
And that psychologists and psychiatrists are saying a lack of empathy is a sign of stupidity.
Yeah.
This isn't me being like sassy about it. It is an actual proven fact that less intelligent people have less empathy. And so that
because they're only concerned with themselves.
Yeah, it truly is a function of their actual IQ. Is a reduction in empathy. Not to say that, you know, all people who have a low IQ are lack empathy, but there's a strong correlation. And one of the other things this article from a journal said was the kindest person in the room is often the smartest.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so as you go, we're about to go to a Super Bowl party. This coming up, we're going to go as part of our reach out to make new friends. This was someone we met playing pickleball. She was gracious and invited us to her Raging Super Bowl party. So we're going to go to this
fifth annual, I think, or
virtual
something
complete
like that.
stranger's house.
Yeah.
And
Casey's really not
yeah,
looking
it's
forward
all
to it.
outside of Casey's comfort zone,
Very
like you
much
wouldn't
out of
believe.
Out of my comfort zone as well, because I didn't really play with her that much. You
Yeah.
guys played with her
We
more.
played with more.
Yeah,
Especially
and
Ed was partnered with her.
Yeah, and
Ed's been actually on a reach out role here. We went on that bike ride with the other people from pickleball while you were on the cruise, and we had a great time. We met halfway in Escondido. We rode with them. We rode to a winery. We're going to go ride on his birthday next week,
which Casey finds very awkward, but all right, we'll do it.
Ed was riding ahead with the guy, and I was staying behind with her, and so he kind of cultivated that and got to know the guy's birthday. Hey, why don't we go on a ride for your birthday? I'm sitting there going, who kidnapped my husband?
Yeah,
and did this. So that second follow up. And then she wound up texting right after to say, hey, did you mean it? Let's do it. So it was a successful love connection so far. Then I think you're going to like hanging with them. But we're going to
we have yet to meet him. You've met him twice.
We're going to put ourselves out there again next Sunday. And then this Sunday, we're going to go to the Super Bowl party. So
Which
kindest
is tomorrow.
person... It is tomorrow. The kindest person in the room is often the smartest. So we'll be testing that theory.
That would not be me. I am rarely the kindest or the smartest person in the room. So, all right. I'm Elle.
I'm Dylan.
And we both love soup.